Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. So I want to talk about this article from Mike over at Light Reading, and I think this article is a bit ridiculous. And the title states at the beginning, T-Mobile is warehousing spectrum. So let's get that out the way, right? We have a company, or had a company, since they are now actually deploying it, but we had Dish sit on spectrum for pretty much almost an entire decade. So that's what I consider having, spectrum just sitting in a warehouse. That spectrum that Dish had during LTE could have been used in many, many instances. Verizon could have used it, may have caused them to have to deploy less sites. T-Mobile could have used this during LTE for less congestion. Same with AT&T. They could have all used the spectrum. But Dish was able to sit on it and actually warehouse that spectrum. Now, T-Mobile, they hardly ever sit on spectrum. As soon as they got the PCS spectrum from Metro PCS, they deployed it immediately. As soon as they got the other Band 12 assets from Verizon's A Block, they deployed that immediately. Just as when we talk about spectrum and what fuels the spectrum, it's clearly capital investment. And it was made very clear that T-Mobile would focus its capital intensity on 600 and 2.5. And that's exactly what they've done. They had to integrate the networks. So I know they have millimeter wave and DoD and C-band sitting in a warehouse. That's coming. There's no need right now for T-Mobile to deploy C-band or DoD until they have dual band radios ready. T-Mobile is in absolutely no need to go right now and deploy an additional 2 sets of radios and panels. That would be an insane, huge mistake to fund another project of that scale. Not needed. They can wait until C-band and DoD or until Ericsson and Nokia come out with dual band radios for that spectrum. And then T-Mobile will deploy. They'll go and deploy it. That'll be in 2024. Millimeter wave, if we're being honest, technically it's not sitting in a warehouse because T-Mobile does have it deployed across 8 cities. They had it deployed at several Super Bowls. They had it at last year's Super Bowl. They'll likely have it at this year's Super Bowl in Phoenix, although that wasn't publicly disclosed yet. But, if you put 2 and 2 together, that's a large event. They will likely have millimeter wave there. So they're not sitting on that spectrum either. They're just not deploying it at a large scale. Will it gain more scale? Yes, it'll eventually gain more scale. Will they likely use it for point-to-point for fixed wireless access? Yes, that could happen too. But they're not sitting on it. They're using most of that spectrum, except the C-band and DoD, but that's only because they're waiting for more money-efficient radios to be released that can do both. So in 2024, T-Mobile will start deploying the C-band DoD. They'll just go back on sites, and then they'll fund that in a separate plan. They'll go on sites, deploy that radio with a panel, and it'll be dual band. They could do both. And then, of course, by that time, T-Mobile will likely, or for device purposes, you'll likely need a newer device at that time that can aggregate both. Maybe all 3, right? We don't know how that's going to be. N41, N77, N77. We'll see how that plans out. We'll talk about that as that gets closer. But that will have to be looked at too, device support and everything else. So right now, the DoD C-band is going to sit in that warehouse. It just is. But it's meant to be deployed, and it's going to be deployed. It's not going to sit there for long. They have 1 more year where they're going to go big on 600 and 2.5. They're going to get to 300 million by the end of 2023. And then 2024, I am told, that's when the C-band DoD deployments start, and they'll start gradually scaling that as a congestion protection. They're not going to have much of that. Utilization rates on some sites are going to be high because of fixed wireless access and, of course, them loading up more mobile usage. But if you're looking at it from a large graph, that's going to be relatively low. Yes, there will be some individual experiences like mine, Mobile Master Tech, and some others where the sector's completely loaded already because that specific area just had a huge explosion of growth. But of course, T-Mobile can't control that because they don't know how many mobile users they're going to add and to what sector they go to. I'm sure that they could run an analysis on that internally, but for now, they're not deploying that, but for obvious reasons. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to the channel. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.